what, at the beginning of the year, Nvidia was running at like $400 a share, give or take, and right now it's sitting at 800. So it basically just doubled in the last 2.5 months, right? So it's been going wild.
Mhm.
Now, you could have bought, $1,000 worth of Nvidia at the beginning of the year. That would have gotten you about what, 2.5 shares, give or take, and you would have made a good amount of money, right? You would have doubled basically. But if you would have bought contracts like options, it kind
What the is we doing?
Right.
of,
Welcome back, fellas. I think it's Happy New Year's as well. 3 months in. And this is technically is the second part that we record since the first one that we did on January. It recorded without audio. So we never posted it, honestly. And we sort of don't remember the topic, but we're just gonna let it flow as we usually do on this pod. How you been,
yep.
right? I haven't spoke to you since then.
Since the
Not
last time where we lost all the audio, all is well. Life is going well.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. So new job, got promotion or got promoted. So now I'm fully a manager again. So that's cool. Been playing a lot of video games, so that's been fun. Been doing a lot of trading, as we were just discussing before we started this.
Mhm.
So that's also been fun. Yeah, basically my life has been revolved around those three things. My profession, being a manager in the fitness industry,
Mhm.
playing video games, and trading on the stock market. Well, trading and investing, because I'm definitely putting a lot of money into investments or just leaving money out on the side so that I can invest it later on when I see a good opportunity. But yeah, things have been going good, man.
It's good life, good life. I heard you. That's good. And congratulations
How are
are
you?
here for you on the promotion. Cheers for that.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any liquor. You got that coffee liquor over there?
Yeah, I put some whiskey in this coffee. It definitely tastes good, to be honest. I was not expecting that. Usually, coffee with rum is the best, but right now, coffee with whiskey does the job for today, for now. On my end, life update. There was a lot of celebrations this past month on February here. Ecuador has this festivity called Carnival, similar to Brazil's. So my family from the States came to visit, so that was fun. I adopted a puppy. So I'm a dad
Hey.
dog tag, a dog dad. Yeah. So yeah, I have a puppy now. I'm still living here in Ecuador. Not for so long anymore. I already have my flight out in 2 weeks. Actually, from today, I will start my backpacking in South America and eventually cross into or making my way up to New York. And yeah, I'm planning to be back in New York by end of May. And after that, I've been trading more, as I was mentioning to Randy as
Mhm.
well. So that has been part of my source of income as of now, as well as, also like doing some programming and as well as applying for jobs. That has been very slow for me this past month since it's New Year's and the holidays just passed and the market is really volatile right now for jobs as a software engineers, especially with AI is taking over. But you know, I'm considering changing careers now. No, 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 I'm not. Just thinking. It's a thought. I've been meditating about that thought as well, since I've been enjoying trading way too much, like a lot. And I think that if you listen to the previous part from the beginning when we started this, like we ramble, we talk about investments and finance like a lot, right? And that's one of my passions as well.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I did a couple of trips actually around Ecuador. Three road trips specifically this past month. So you
Mhm.
taking advantage of the time I have left, visiting new places. That has been my video games. But yeah, aside of that, yeah, things are great. Drinking some coffee, chatting with my bro, and making plans. But
Sweet. Yeah. So you were asking me like, why did I start trading now more now? Um, yeah. So the volatility in the market has been pretty fruitful for me, at least. I mean, I've been eyeing a lot of different positions and a lot of different opportunities since last year, like closer to the end of the year. So I made a couple different trades, and I made a couple different moves, and I've been kind of just staying on that consistently. So realistically, it's just me doing just continuing what I was doing the year before it towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I've been able to pick it up more now is because I've had more time. So, which is not to say that I'm like not doing anything. I'm definitely have a full job on the side that I'm doing. Um, but I just have it a little bit more extra. I have extra time, so I can dedicate it to something else that I like to do, which is investing and looking at news and seeing what opportunities there are for things like trading and investing. Again, it's a pretty comparable, not the same, obviously, but it's similar to video games, right? If you get really good at it, you win a lot, and winning means you make a lot of money, which is awesome. And there's a lot of techniques, there's a lot of different things to learn and to do, and there's a lot of challenges that you need to overcome. Similar to a video game, right? You start playing a game, you're trying to, level up and beat this boss, and then you lose a couple times, and now you're like at this fork in the road. Are you going to try to get better and beat this boss, or are you going to just stop playing? I'm really not an individual that likes to give up. I will keep doing it until I succeed or I die trying. That's kind of my mentality with most things that I do. And basically, trading is, or investing in trading, and has been kind of similar in that capacity. We've been talking about this since we've met each other.
Mm-hmm.
What? We're going on 8 years now, give or take,
God damn.
almost,
Is it?
right? Yeah. So 2016 or 2017 is when we met.
No, wait, 26. I think it was 2018. 2018. Because I
2018. Anyways,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time. And I think the investing and trading, that was one of the topics that kind of connected us both. I
yep.
started doing this while in high school. I started with investment. My mentality is mainly investment. For example, in
Mm-hmm.
January or by the end of the year, what I do on my long-term portfolio, I always analyze all the stocks or all the companies that I have on my portfolio, analyze it, and decide that throughout the year, I set my either buy or sell target to increase or minimize the
Mm-hmm.
positions depending on how the company is doing, and also like the last earnings reports, and my also like analysis on what's been happening around the globe with this market.
Mm-hmm.
But since I've been traveling and I needed some sort of uh, source of income, I started trading more. Usually I didn't do as much as investing, but now I've been doing it more like on a daily basis. I've been getting really good at it actually. Sometimes I miss, but you cannot win them all.
It happens.
And as long as your wins over, how do you call that? Overtake your losses, then you're good. Offsets your losses, then you're
Yep.
good. So one question for you that I had, since you've been mentioning this a lot this past week, is options, trading
Mm-hmm.
options, puts and calls. Like I have an understanding, I've done it in the past, but I'm not like 100% confident to go in and actually put some money in there. Since right now I don't have a stable source of income from a 9 to 5, my
Mm-hmm.
money for me is more kind of like scarce. So like all the
Yep.
money that I have on the market is the money that I'm willing to lose, and is
Mm-hmm.
a couple $1,000s. But still, like if I lose that money, I'd be like, I wouldn't have like more money to put it in. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right.
So
Yep.
me trading options, especially since I do Robinhood for investing, and usually I don't touch the portfolio unless I see a great opportunity to buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
The portfolio is just running up just 5 months. It's crazy. But I
That's
use my
awesome.
pool, which is a cash account. So that also limits me with, that money that I'm trading, and gives me the opportunity to day trade as well, 3 times a week. But yeah. But
Yep.
yeah, how do you get into options trading?
Uh, it's like it happens kind of similar to you. I've done it in the past and it wasn't relatively successful. I just didn't really, it's similar to stocks, right? Just buying and selling stocks. But the thing is, the way it works is that there's a time limit. On it. And the closer you get to a certain expiration date, and so
Mm.
let's say I buy today and this contract is set to expire in like 2 weeks, the time, the fact that there's a time variable there, it makes it depreciate faster.
Mhm.
Or, it makes it run up a lot faster relative, depending on, if it's a positive or negative catalyst. Catalyst. So anyway, I got into it a while ago. I kind of just played around with it. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I kind of stopped. But then I got reintroduced into it because I was just watching a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of people were just mentioning options are great. Um,
Mhm.
if you have a little bit of capital, you know, hypothetically speaking, let's say you wanted to buy Apple stock, or recently Nvidia stock, like a prime example was actually Nvidia, right? So there were, at the beginning of the year, Nvidia was running at like $400 a share, give or take. And right now it's sitting at 800. So it basically just doubled in the last 2.5 months, right? So it's been going a while.
Mhm.
Now, you could have bought, $1,000 worth of Nvidia at the beginning of the year. That would have gotten you about what, 2.5 shares, give or take, and you would have made a good amount of money, right? You would have doubled basically. But if you would have bought contracts like options, contracts expiring within like 2 to 3 months, or maybe in a month or so, you probably would have been able to buy it at around maybe 200-300 bucks a contract. And every contract would be the equivalent of buying like 100 shares, right? Give or take. And with that, the appreciation would be significantly larger, right? Because technically you just bought one contract that's the equivalent of 100 shares compared to just buying one share of the stock. Again, this is super rudimentary. There's a lot more science that goes into this, but just kind of an example.
Right.
Anyway,
So,
that
Mhm.
hold on, just to finish the thought, right? So that would have appreciated significantly more. And I think like the numbers were, anywhere from the ballpark of about 20 to maybe 50x relative to your initial investments, um, from where Nvidia started in January to where it is now, if you would have bought options instead of just the stocks. Good.
Right. So one of the reasons I mentioned that you need some sort of capital to play with options and calls with options contract is the reason that for example Robinhood, that's the only place that I have played with options, they sell you by 1,000 contracts if I'm not mistaken. So um okay, so let's go back. Let's explain what puts and calls are or what options are. Like for me, this is my understanding of it. Like I also like watch videos. I also learned this in the
Mm-hmm.
past. So the way that I kind of like put it into context is like buying a house, like a property. When there's
Mm-hmm.
people that just buys a contract to buy the house rather than buying the actual house.
Yep.
So let's say Randy is selling a house that's worth $100. Just imagine. No, actually, let's put it. Yeah, let's say $100K,
Mm-hmm.
$1,000. And I don't have the money right now to buy that. But let's say like maybe in a month or in 2 months, I can see if get loans. I can get the money somehow. So I talk to Randy and I tell him like to take the house from the market, out of the market, and instead of giving him like $100,000, I just give him $10,000 or like $1,000. For $1,000, I tell him, okay, can you freeze or can you take the house out of the market for 1 month? Now, what happens is like if the house or around the house, some catalyst happens that either increases or decreases the value for the property. So now that property in the month is no longer $100,000, but it's like $200,000. So now I can sell my contract to somebody else, but I'm not gonna sell it for the $1,000, but I'm gonna sell it for 2,000, depending on the percentage that the house increases value. So that way, if increases by 50%, then you multiply, like that $1,000 times 15% of it, which is 1,500, and I sell it to a random one, and I get out of the contract. Now that's his problem. It's his, it's his problem to either buy or lose the contract eventually. And that's a call option. and I'm betting that this company or this house is gonna increase in value eventually in this X amount of time. And if it does, I win. But as Randy mentioned, as the date gets closer to expiration date, it keeps devaluating the value of the contract. So that's one kind of like factor also that plays in account. And puts is something, the inverse of it. Now you think that this house is gonna depreciate in value, or this company is gonna depreciate in value in X amount of time. So you're betting on these factors, but like each contract can cost as low as like 1 cent. I think contracts costing like one
Yep.
cent, but it's a matter of like one contract is equivalent to like 1,000 shares or something like that. So that's why like
100.
100 shares. Yeah, yeah. That's why, like, let's say you want to buy one contract, then and it's 5 cents, then you multiply those 5 cents for 100, which is damn, my math is trash. $50,
No, you're good. Yeah.
right? And so on. So that's why when you're buying and selling contracts, you usually need more money or more amount than the value of that share per se. For example, right now we were mentioning Mara, which is a stock that has been trending because of the rise of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is like Randy bought a few options like what, December or November?
January. January.
January. And since the the price for this stock was pretty relatively low. I think it was on its 20 or 16, something like that. So the options calls, they were cheaper then. But if you take a look now, they are more expensive. So let's say like each call, depending on the date that you want to choose, like let's say in 2 months, is going to cost like each contract like $5 or $6, which gets pretty expensive.
Yep.
And as everybody says, the higher the risk, higher the reward. So like you can end up losing all this money that you put in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the risk that you run when you play with options calls. Okay, I hope I
Sure.
explained it
One
well.
thing that, so, no, that was actually pretty good. I think I understood. Um, Again, we'll see if there's anybody that would want to see, or when we look back at this, we'll see if we had the right definition or not. In any case, so for me, when it comes to trading or working with these options that I've been doing lately, I've
Mhm.
been very good about looking for opportunities that don't overextend the cash position that I have available to work with, right? So generally speaking, right, so we're mentioning like, hey, if the contracts are like 10 cents a share, you're taking 10 cents, multiplying that by 100, and then that's how much you're paying for the whole contract, right? So realistically, at this point, what I'm aiming to do is generally finding anything within a sweet spot, whatever I find to be a good value offer, and then looking at that time horizon. So, I'm not really going to spend any more than like $100 per contract
Mhm.
if depending on the stock and depending on the time horizon, right? Because for me, like I'm comfortable losing like $100 on one contract, right? I won't ever overextend myself to the point where I just like throw all the money that I have into this one play. I'm
Right.
going to put a decent amount of time. So what I've been finding, and this, I don't know if it's an actual strategy. It might be. So for any call options, I usually extend it out to be about 2 to 3 months. And again, I'm looking for something within that range of about 50 to $100 per contract. I'm comfortable with that. If I can find it cheaper, that would be better. But again, we're looking at where I'm thinking this is going to appreciate to. If you take something like Mara, in the next 2 to 3 months, I can definitely see that um, stock going all the way up to maybe like 40, 50, maybe even $60, depending on how Bitcoin does with the halving situation.
Right.
Great. So what I would want to see, can I get a contract that's going to expire anywhere in the next 2 to 3 months for relatively good value, and then just kind of ride it up over time? Now the inverse, and we were talking about buying puts on Mara because of the earnings, which is something that I did, right? And I actually made a decent amount. It's like 40%, which is pretty fucking good for just like 20 minutes worth of work, right? Now I didn't put a lot of money into it just because I didn't know how that was going to play out, but again, it's more about getting really good with the skill set so that when you actually do have the money, you know exactly how to play it, or you have a better understanding how to play a move like this.
Right.
Anyway, so the time horizon that I chose was about 3 weeks. So expiring in 3 weeks, I want to find a contract that's going to put Mara at a lower value than where it's at right now, because I'm assuming that I don't know, the volatility in the market, specifically for the stock, is going to basically make it drop, regardless of how earnings is,
Mhm.
unless it's like extremely good, which I was doubting.
Mediums.
So I bought something in 3 weeks. I think the strike price was like $20, and I think I bought a couple contracts, maybe 4 or 5 of those, and I made a 40% return in like 20 minutes from the time that I bought it, which was like around 12:20, and I sold it like around 12:40, maybe 1 p.m. Once it started dipping again. So yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm finding to be a good strategy for me. Again, once you think you figured something out in the market, it will absolutely change on you, and you're fucked. You will start losing money like crazy. So it's always really important to have good risk management. So again, don't put more money on the line than you're willing to risk, and ultimately understand that nothing is guaranteed. The only thing that's really guaranteed in the market is if you stay in it long enough, you will make money, as long as you don't do anything too crazy. But that's only if you're investing in the right companies and the right moves, looking at trends, observing what opportunities are going to come about in the future.
Mhm.
Again, from the beginning of the year, we were looking at things like interest rates being lowered, right, or starting to be slashed. So that's going to be a positive catalyst.
Mhm.
We're looking at Bitcoin ETF, right? So that got approved. So that's a positive catalyst. I can't say the word. Bitcoin halvening coming up, right? And then the data suggests that after every Bitcoin halvening, there will probably be a drop and then a consolidation period, and then it'll ride back up to new all-time highs. So these are like things that you're looking at and observing and finding data and analyzing the market and looking at videos or reading reports to find these trends. That way you can play it and make some money, right? Make some moves and make some money. And that's what I'm saying, that this can become a game. And if you get really good at it, it's fun and you make a lot of money.
Also,
So you kill two birds with one stone.
to me, it's more of a skill than a game. Well, playing the game also can become a
It's a
skill.
skill.
Yeah. I think it's understanding what you're playing as well as knowing that you can lose. I think being comfortable losing as well is a huge factor. And
Sure.
not putting emotions on every trade that you make. Like for example, today I was mentioning Randy, I put I actually bought a lot SQQs, which is, against the market. Like looking just like kind of like, to be honest, I just did it because it was too good to be true for like, I think it's 6 or 7 days in a row that it's been green. And I decided to put some and cash out really quick. But by the time I was trying to cash out, I it kept going down. But eventually, you gotta be willing to lose the money and say like, okay, it's gonna keep going down, so let me just sell it, and you just
Yeah.
offset with buying TQQQs or any other trade that you're making. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think yeah, I think we're going back to basics. Like we're trading again.
It's fun. I mean, like, I'm having a good time. That's pretty much it. I send you text like, hey, did you see this move? It's just going crazy right now. Um, I don't know. It's just, again, when you do something that you enjoy and you're doing it with people that enjoy it, it just makes it fun. And that's just kind of like creating a little community, a little tribe, and just creating the situation where you guys are winning together. And
Correct.
ultimately, I mean, that's kind of like why we do this to begin with, right? We're just having chats about our life in different circumstances, but realistically, it's just like analyzing the things that we're doing, trying to double down on positive behaviors, positive habits,
Mhm.
right? That's why we started with like health, right? Fitness, finance, and some sort of component to what was
Fundamentals.
the other?
Fundamentals of personal life. Well, it's
Yeah,
personal,
personal.
but we try to keep it like triple F, like fitness, finance, and fundamentals of personal development. I think that was
It's
that's
just personal development in that nutshell, right? But like It's just what can we do to keep getting better and, creating that circle, between us or between other people that we include to continue to get better. And that's pretty much what life is about, or at least I feel. I mean, it creates a sense of just, I don't know, I feel good. I enjoy my life. And I enjoy the people that I live it with.
Facts, and probably the next pod, if everything goes well, so we'll record it in person. I will see my boy in Argentina. Is it still on?
That's the plan.
It doesn't sound convincing. Doesn't sound that convincing. Well, okay, I take it. But yeah,
You get what you get at this point because everything's still up in the air.
yeah, I know what you mean. But in the next, what we have, 5 minutes that we have left. How's married life?
It's been good. Again, we've gone through a lot of changes recently, so we've been just navigating that. But it's been smooth. Again, we got together because we're good with each other. We bring out the best in each other. Like I was mentioning before, my life has only gotten better since I've met her. And I think she can say the same, I hope. And, we're just living life together. Like we're growing together in the same, not in the same direction, but in similar directions, right? We're growing parallel with each other. And we have the same vision or we have similar visions of how we want our life to go. So that's really the only thing you can ask for in a partner, right? Wanting to kind of go in the same direction and doing it together and enjoying life.
Perfect.
That's pretty much it.
Love it. I still owe you a huge hug to both of you since I was not there for your marriage, for your wedding. But I will see you guys soon. And with that, this pod is over. Take care, my friend. Peace out.
Until next time.
This is a conversation between friends.
None of what is said here should be taken as legal advice.
We are not experts in any way.
Take what resonates and leave the rest.